Rabbi Chaim Shaul Abud, Zecher Tzadik Libracha. He was a famous payatan. He was a Mishorer. He was a poet. He was an educator and was a very generous person. He was also of the Torah class of the Jewish community, Varam Tzova in Syria, respectively. He was a great rabbi. He opened up a Talmud Torah, a Torah learning institute called Neza Aaron in Jerusalem. Let's explore a few of the highlights of his life. He was born in the year 1890. He passed away on the 13th of June in the year 1977. That happened to have been. He was, I'm not too sure the exact Hebrew date. I think that was actually the 21st of Sivan of that year, respectively. We're talking about 48 years ago from the time of recording. He was born in Aleppo, in Halab, in Syria, over there. And his father was a great rabbi. I think his father's name was Rabbi Avram Abud, and his mother's name was Garcia Abud. He would learn various Torah songs of the Jewish community of Aram Tzava amongst the great rabbis of Aleppo, respectively. And I think one of the famous rabbis at that point in time was Rabbi Raphael Entebbe, who was also a famous poet, one of the great payatanim of Aram Tzava. Really, he was under very, very good company. And there was another great rabbi over there at that point in time. The other rabbi's name, I believe, was I think his name was Rabbi Moshe Asheker HaKohen, who was another one of the great payatanim in Chalab in his day. Hopefully we'll actually record a video on him at one stage in time. His Hilula would have been on the 17th of Tishrei. He actually passed away in the year 1940, about 85 years ago here from the time recording. Moshe Asheker HaKohen, the famous payatan did. So hopefully we'll explore more of the famous rabbis and the payatanim of yesteryear. I think it's very, very important. Okay, so come on. I think the year 1907, he would actually travel to Buenos Aires in Argentina. He would, like many Syrian rabbis, that had a strong connection with Argentina. And he would work as a chazan, I think, and an educator also in Talmud Torah, as well as in the synagogue. And it was a kahila of the Syrian community in the city. Remember, it was a prominent community inside the Syrian community of many Syrian Jews of that specific vicinity in that stage in time. So he really made his mark over there. Then come with the year 1929, eventually, he will make Aliyah and go to Jerusalem, to Eretz Yisrael. And I think he'll be part of the Beit Yisrael neighborhood over there, Haredi ultra-Orthodox neighborhood here in modern day. He would be part of founding the Talmud Torah Neze Aaron over there, I think in the Bukharian neighborhood, I think quite close to various other Talmud Torahs of that specific vicinity. It's actually interesting. Various great rabbis, I think at a later stage, would have an integral part in that place. It was, I think later on, Rabbi Ben Zion Mutzafi would actually learn that. Rabbi Moshe Tzadka, the son of Rabbi Yehuda Tzadka, Rabbi Moshe Tzadka is currently the Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshivat Porat Yosef in the Geula neighborhood in Jerusalem. Very famous, let's say, the bastion of the Sephardic Yeshivot over there, respectively. So those were students that would learn inside this educational network at a later stage. He would have a huge part of the Sephardi community in Jerusalem over there, and this was before the formation of Medinat Yisrael in the year 1948 over there. He would set up Gemachs, a charity funds, Gemach is a loan fund, especially in Jerusalem for the residents over there. We're helping financially support the people, especially he helped financially support Yeshivat Porat Yosef inside the city. Now he's very famous for his Shirat Tabakashot over there. He was very influenced by the great rabbis over there, and he was very, very musical person. The poetry, the music, he was greatly influenced through Arabic music. From different works, he would write lyrics to famous Arabic melodies over there, and which would later on become part of prayer melodies of a special organization. I think it was Shiry, Zmara, השלם. This would come out in the year 1961 over there. He would be one of the founders of it. Various different piyutim and singings, let's just say, would actually be imbued at that stage in time in this specific brilliance. It was various bakashot songs, and I think this was part of the Ada synagogue. This foundation will be the famous Ada synagogue. I think we visited before. If I'm not mistaken, it's actually based in Nachlaot, the various different songs. The Beit Knesset, Ades. He would actually found this in Jerusalem. And there was a piyut of written Chai Elam, for example, and other great piyutim from Seder Habakshot, respectively. He would actually teach over there various different piyutim and different songs. He taught poetry, piyutim. I think he would actually donate his time in doing it. He would do it. Rav Raphael Yair, another great rabbi, El Nadav, Yosef Mutzri, and he would teach piyutim in Yeshivat Porat Yosef. And many different students, I think among them was Chacham Ovadia Yosef, one of the great rabbis, and another famous Rabbi David Shlush. He would go on to be 63 years, I think, a chief rabbi of Netanya. Rabbi David Shlush will be respected. Zimra Hashalem for many years, various different piyutim, and gather it among the various different songs in the Bakashot for the Jewish, especially for the Jewish community of Arum Tzava. In his book Shiry Zimra, it was a bit confusing before, and we talked about the book includes various important poetries from Aram Tzova, especially the various Shirat Bakashot from yesteryear over there. It's poems especially of himself. The piyutim, I think, were arranged in various different makams, let's just say. It has to be pointed out in special order, hamakamim, and it was in a beautiful a seder order over there. Also melodies for Shabbat and Chagim, which was comprised over there. He got married to Rabbanit Leah. His wife's name was Leah over there. I think daughter of Nisim and Rina Franco. I believe the Franco family, famous rabbinic family also, if I'm not mistaken. They would have 12 children, it's reported, over. Now, I believe he passed away on the 21st of Sivan in the year 1977. So I think at the time he passed away, he would have been approximately 87 years of age. Now, there are memorials in his memory, included from the Jerusalem municipality. They decided to commemorate his legacy and name a street where he lived in the Beit Yisrael neighborhood after him. What were some of his famous poems? Included the Chai Elam, which you mentioned before, the Malkei, the Tzuri, the El Bazman, and the Ya Azarti. This was another famous piyut of his, which we have to point out. So he was a very famous man, and he was all throughout his life he was into piyutim and poetry. He was also learning a lot of Torah and halacha amongst the Bakashot also while he was in Aleppo. 1907, spent 22 years, I think, in Buenos Aires, respectively, and his melodies really touch the entire Sephardic world all throughout. Along with Rabbi Chaim Yosef, also the famous Moshe Habusha and Yehiel Nahari were famous students of his. Moshe Habusha is a famous Paytan and famous Chazan of nowadays. We mentioned about him on various occasions before. He himself was born in the year 1961 and was he really felt. He was also a grandson, I believe, of Rabbi Gorgi Yair. Now, the great rabbi who happened to be one of the famous Chazans of Israel, and much I recommend everyone to look. He's got many discs. Rabbi Moshe Habusha has the famous Chazan doing a lot. Rabbi Yechiel Nahari, who I think also was born in 1961, was a Talmud of him. He's also a Chazan in Israel. I think, if I'm not mistaken, family came from both Teman and Syria originally, and I think he actually works for Arut Sesrim, especially since the year 2015. And would travel across the world to many different synagogues, especially in London, America. He would go to various different places. That's another one of his Talmudim. So his wings, let's just say, really spreaded in a huge rate. And I recommend much more to learn within regards to him. Rabbi Chaim Shaul Abud, one of the great rabbis of his time. I think especially the Otzar Chokhmah website, the Pizmunim.org, will actually give a list of his various different performances, which I would recommend everyone to do. There's various journals. I think especially in the Kul Sinai journal, he's very much featured in also National Library. A lot of his teachings. There's a nice picture of him. Also, I believe he went to various different places. I think many of his recordings actually come from even 1960, and there's many online, which you can see. I'm just looking now at the website. I think courtesy of various different people, including Isaac Caboso, Yosef Amwai, Moshe Dweck, various different recordings he's very much featured in. And I think he was also a Talmid, just to add on, of two great... Yeah, so that was very... I think, as we Zimra is very widely used in the community here. We're learning about famous rabbis, famous chazans. Yes, here. If you descend from any of the great rabbis we are speaking about, please send me an email. I would love to hear more information. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please subscribe now. We're nearing staggering 7,000 subscribers, which is a phenomenal achievement. If anyone is interested in watching any of these videos we're recording, please share these videos also to other people. We're about to come in to the Parsha Shabbat, or Parshat Balak the Shabbat. Over here, we're in the middle of the book of Bamidbar. Please, everyone, have a good Shabbat. Recording this from Bet Shemesh, the city of Bet Shemesh. Now, if you descend from any of the rabbis we're speaking about, I would love to hear more information about them. If you feel, also, if you descend from any great rabbis of yesteryear, please send me an email. I would love to record and research on the great rabbi, and maybe record a video on the great Chacham, and include to the collection of rabbis. We're an online encyclopedia. We're trying to learn about the great rabbis from the Ottoman countries, especially from the various different Sephardic countries, from the Spanish countries specifically. We're trying to find out what went on in all these different localities, who were the great rabbis of these places. And very much with your help, we're a community over here. We're learning and we are growing. And let's just say we're doing huge stuff for Am Yisrael. I want to keep up this fantastic work, and we can't do it without your help, friends, over here. So please subscribe now, join the channel, join the community, tell all your friends, like the videos, and share the videos also to other people. So wishing you a Shabbat Shalom, and thanks everyone for watching. Thank you very much.